What's going on, guys? In this video, we're going to talk about how to pass a Topstep combine. So we're going to go over some numbers. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts and opinions because I'm constantly always taking evaluations / combines, depending on the firm. With this pass of the 50K combine with Topstep now brings me up to a total of 5 XFAs. For whatever reason, Topstep, for me, I love them. I still rank them at the top. Their combines are always a little bit harder for me to pass for some reason. I don't know why. It's a mental thing, I think. But I've had as many as 4 XFAs. I've had as little as 2 XFAs over the past year to 2 years. Finally at 5. Let's see if we can keep the 5th. I've got to 5 before, and I've lost it very quickly. So let's see how long we keep this 5th one. Total balance, $53,019, so we made it just on the mark. Today, we made $900. Now, the total P&L was over the $3,000. This took 3 days to pass, okay? So you can see here we made $978 on 23 trades. We made $1,100 on 22 trades. We made $900 on 15 trades. This is typically how I pass evaluations and combines, is very quickly. And the reason being is because I look at it as what's the investment and what's the return on that investment. In this case, it's $50 to invest for a 50K combine. What's the rate of return on that? How fast can I get to an XFA? Now, can I sit here and trade for 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 weeks and pass at a much slower pace? Absolutely. But the return on my time investment wouldn't be good. Again, I trade for a living, so I need to be able to generate cash on a week-by-week or month-by-month basis. I don't have time to sit here and take 1 or 2 months. Now, if you're at a particular spot where you do have a 9 to 5, and maybe you don't have all day to trade or every day to trade, then I would definitely take as much time as you need, okay? So that's a big misconception. A lot of times traders with a full 9 to 5 job will try to pass these in 1 or 2 days, when realistically, your return on time investment is different than mine or someone else's, right? You don't necessarily need to pass in 1 or 2 days or 3 days or 1 week or 2 weeks. You can take a little bit more time. Now let's kind of go over the numbers because I want to clarify some things here. If we look, the trading win percent is 66%, okay? So based on any one given of my strategies, some of my strategies will win at 70%, some of them at 80%. But overall, when I mix and jumble and put them into a big pot and stir everything around, it was a 66% overall trade win rate, okay? So we took 60 trades total to pass this account. Here's also something that I want to note for everyone, is that depending on the price action and depending on the day, because every day is different, also is going to depend on my position sizing. I'm going to always play evaluations a lot more aggressive. There is also times intraday where maybe the particular setup or the price action is not flowing as much or as good as I would personally like to see it. I will play micros. So having that I don't need to just play micros, I don't need to just play minis to pass this thing, can get thrown out the window. You should definitely be going back and forth. Now, I don't recommend your normal position sizing is, let's say, on an evaluation 2 or even 3 minis, and then you're going to go down and play 10 minis. You know what I'm saying? We want to keep it in the same ballpark, but we can always go down. That's fine. We never just want to go up. So let me give you another example. Let's say you're normally playing 5 micro contracts, okay? Where 80% of the time you're playing 5 micros. I don't want to see someone go out there and trade 2 or 3 minis on a next trade and then go back down to 5 micros and then 3 minis on the next trade or 5 minis on the next trade. Whatever our cap is, so if 3 is our max, we're not going to go above 3. So I'm not going to go trade 5 if my cap is 3. I can go down depending on the setup, but I'm not going to go over it, okay? So the profit factor 3.9, profit factor, for those of you guys don't know, is the ratio of total profits divided by the total losses. What else can we look at that's interesting here? Again, average win to loss, it's a 1.80, $100 to the win side, $58 to the losing side. Average winning trade around $100. Average losing trade around $50. Overall trade direction, we had 36 longs and we had 24 shorts. So a little bit more long over the past 3 days than I was short. Again, that's because I was waiting for a lot of these downward moves to come into support and then bounce them. You can see here, my best trade that I took was a $426 winner. So it's not like, you know, I had one trade one day where I made $1,500 and then got lucky with one more trade, another trade. My biggest trade was $400. So like I was kind of dinking and dunking here. It's not like I was, you know, looking for $500 a trade to pass this thing. My worst trade was on one mini contract and it was for $282 of a loss. So I'm trying to keep my losses like below 300, below 350, and I want the wins. Anything over $100, I'll take it. So let's say, for example, this trade here was on 3 minis. The move that I got into was 20,704, and I got out at 20,711. So if you look at that, I got about 5 or 6 points on this particular setup here. This happened on the 15th, which was today. So I took 3 long on a bounce and I got about 5 points. So that aligns with the strategy that I'm normally trading. So again, doesn't mean that every single trade I'm trading 3 minis, right? So that's what I want you guys to understand. Just because I made this on 3 minis doesn't mean I go into the next trade trading 3 minis. To be honest, today there was about 4 trades that I took that were on one micro, where I made $35. I made $55. The biggest trade that I took on the micro side was like about $70. That's fine, because all I'm looking at is how much risk can I put on this trade? Do I need to let it wiggle around? And can I get into a trade for low risk with a potential bigger return? If it's just more so of a momentum or a scalp, I might put on a little bit bigger size and look to capture a quick move, so forth and so forth. Again, even the loss on the worst trade wasn't that big of a loss, right? We did go long at 20,686 and we got exited at 20,672. So it's not like I'm giving myself 20, 30, 40, 50 points of stop loss here on these micros. If the trade that I get into is a scalp and I'm trading minis, it needs to work right now or I'll cut the trade. So that's why you're going to see this number, 66%, be a little bit lower than if I was just playing maybe one particular strategy. The strategies that I was using, 20 SMA, scalps, 30-minute opening ranges, and I was using what we use in Evolution Traders called the big chart with all of the supply and demand zones, looking to play supply to supply and demand to demand on level breaks and bounces and reclaims of certain supply and demand zones. If you guys want more information on that, join the Discord. We go over it. I've got a lot of instructional videos, but it would take me hours to sit here and explain how that chart works. That's why I have 10 hours of video inside the Discord. So with that being said, you know, not bad, right? I mean, to pass a combine in 3 days is not bad. Now, I could have taken a little bit more time here, but once I started to see a lot of that downwards pressure today, I knew that there was going to be some good opportunity to try to capture a lot of this move or to try to capture a little bit of a bounce, which there wasn't that many bounces, but still I was able to make some money on a particular bounce. Like, for example, my best trade was long today, right? Today's the 15th and it was actually long. So again, you know, just because we're on a downwards move, if you find the right areas of supply or demand, you can definitely make money on both sides. You just have to understand you're not going to make that much money going against a trend, and you have a higher probability of getting stopped out. This is all, again, because I did trade 3 days, it falls in line with the best percentage of total profit, 37%. So it's pretty average. It's pretty even. This is what you want to see. $1,000 days. Again, it doesn't have to be $1,000 days. It could be $100 days, right? But what you don't want to see is $1,000 day green. You don't want to see a $1,500 red day and then a $100 day winning day. Keep it all the same. Notice the trade counts, 23 trades, 22 trades, 15 trades. A lot of that trade count gets attributed to sometimes I'm getting into micros where I'm trying to find the zone and maybe I get stopped out because I'm putting my stop loss like right above a supply, or right below a high wick, or right under a low wick, or right above the wick where I'm trying to short, right? So let's say, for example, we bounce into a previous area of resistance, and then we put in a wick like where it got rejected. I might drop a stop loss over that, and I'm trying to play it back down. But if I get stopped out, that's going to attribute to, this high trade count, which again, you want to keep your losses small as possible, and you want to try to ride those winners. Again, unless you have a fixed take profit and a fixed stop loss on a specific strategy, that's completely different. But when you're playing price action, you're playing supply and demand, you kind of want to play it a little bit tighter to the vest like that. So all in all, very excited now that I'm finally back into 5XFAs again. I'm just going to honestly try to nurture these, for the next month and a half into the new year. I don't really am no dire need to take out some big paycheck from Topstep this month or even next month. I would like to kind of grow the balance into January and then request a withdrawal. We'll see how the balances go. Again, I will not try to be doing $1,000 days on this XFA. I'm going to probably start off trading 2 micros, for the better half of 1 to at least 2 weeks until I can build up a little bit of a cushion. Okay. So anytime I get into a funded account, I don't automatically trade 2 minis. I don't automatically try to grow the balance as big as I can, as fast as I can. What I try to do is trade as small as possible and try to really find good trade setups that align with my strategies. Again, I use multiple strategies in multiple areas of supply and demand, and then try to grow that balance on a day-by-day basis. I would not be hesitant to lock out a $150, $200 day. I would not be hesitant to lock out a $50 day. And again, before you wonder, well, doesn't Topstep require you to have a $200 day before you're eligible for a payout? You need 5 of those days? They do. But no one is telling me that I need to do 5 days right now. Like, I don't have to do 5 days in a row. I don't have to always do $200. If I make $100, that's fine. I'll stop trading on a day. I want to build a cushion. I want a cushion. I want a padded cushion. So if I have to trade micros until I make 1,000 or make 1,500 or make 2,000, where I can size up into 3 micros and then 4 micros, I will do that. I'm not concerned about making $200 a day. The $200 a day requirement will happen when it happens. It is not forced. So just want to show you guys this. I thought it would be pretty cool to kind of go over some numbers and kind of show you guys what it actually takes to pass. Again, do not get married to trading only 1 mini. Do not get married to trading only, 2 micros. If you have a hot setup and you have a lot of momentum behind you and we've broken out of a key level, put on more size and capture more of that move. If you're running into a setup where we're kind of chopping around the zone, do not put on 1 or 2 mini contracts. Put on maybe 2 micros and work that zone and see if you can work yourself out of that trade zone so you can, kind of maybe hold for extended profits, extended price target, versus just a quick scalp on big size, but you're trading in a range where if you're trading on big size and you get stopped out, you're going to lose hundreds of dollars. Okay. So I hope this is informative. If it is, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. If you guys want to join the Discord, there's a 24-hour free all access pass. You guys can jump on that. And if you decide you like it and you want to stick around for a little bit, you can definitely do that. But I'll see all of you guys on the next one.